Hello students, this video is made for explaining the Newton's three equation of motions by proving them graphically. So, Newton has given us three equations of motion. The first equation is V is equals to U plus AT. Second equation is S is equals to UT plus half AT square. And third equation is V square equals to U square plus 2AS. Now before understanding or before writing the equations, let us understand the meanings of the terms. The terms used in Newton's equation are, first of all, T indicates time, U indicates initial velocity of an object, V indicates final velocity of an object, A indicates its acceleration, S indicates displacement of an object. So these are the familiar symbols used in Newton's equations of motion. Now let us prove all the equations given, that are V equals to U plus AT, S equals to UT plus half AT square, and V square equals to U square plus 2AS. So let us prove each equation individually. So for this, let us consider a velocity time graph of an object moving in uniform motion. Uniform motion means its speed or its distance is equally covered with equal interval of time. So at the present, it had some kind of initial velocity which was non-zero. So let us plot it somewhere here up. It had some initial velocity which was increasing, and it reached some final velocity at a particular time. So this is the initial velocity point, this is the point of final velocity. The time taken is from point this to this. So let us label this as OE. Let us label this point of final velocity as capital V. This is small v, so I am just making it a curve so that you all understand. This is small v. The value of final velocity here means this entire segment represents V. Let us name this point as C. Let us name this point as B. This is E. Initial velocity at this point, let us label it as A. So the time from O to E is T. Understanding, students? Now, these are not the actual graphical lines. These are just for measuring it on axis. So we will make these lines dotted. Okay. So for first equation, we will start with a very basic thing, that is the formula of acceleration. We all know that acceleration, which is denoted by A, is basically velocity upon time. But when you have two different velocities at the starting and at the end of a motion, we can say that acceleration is change in velocity divided by time. So change in velocity is nothing but final velocity minus initial velocity divided by time. So can we write the formula A equals to V minus U divided by T, because we have taken final velocity as V, initial velocity as U, and time as T. So A is equals to V minus U divided by T. Before coming to this, how are final and initial velocity represented on the graph? So final velocity is represented by OC. Initial velocity is represented by O till this point. Let us label this point as D. So OD. So what we can say here is final velocity is OC minus OD divided by time, which is represented by OE. We have substituted the symbols and we have got this expression. Take T on this side. What do we get? So therefore, A multiplied by T is equals to V minus U. Let us take minus u on this side. What will we get? AT plus u is equals to V. Frame the equation, bring RHS on LHS and LHS at RHS. So V is equals to AT plus u, or after bringing it in front, we get V is equals to u plus AT. This is called as the Newton's first equation of motion. So I want you all to copy down this easier way in your notebooks. So now students, we move towards obtaining the second equation of motion, that is S is equals to ut plus half at square. Now students, for this derivation we need the same graph again. Actually for all the three derivations we require the same graph. In this graph, how do we represent displacement, students? Displacement is represented by quadrangle, or what we call it as quadrilateral ODBE, because from point U till point B, what we can say, how did we obtain this is displacement? Simple thing. Displacement ka formula is velocity divided by time. Yes or no? So velocity is initial to final and we require time t. So basically the area which comes under quadrangle ODBE represents the displacement. So what we will write here is, we will write displacement equals to area of quadrangle. Now it is written complete in the textbook, I am just writing it symbolically. Area of quadrangle ODBE. Now ODBE, even though it looks as a trapezium, using the formula of trapezium we will get another equation. We can tell that ODBE is made up of a rectangle ODAE and DBA right angle triangle. Yes or no? So what we can say is, ODBE is nothing but area of quadrilateral ODAE, which is a rectangle, plus area of triangle DAB. Correct? Now we know that area of rectangle is length multiplied by breadth and area of a triangle is half into base into height. Let us substitute displacement by small s. So now this is equals to length multiplied by breadth. Do not make use of symbols such as L and B, because B breadth and B base of a triangle both might coincide and you all might get it wrong. Area of a triangle is half into base into height. Now have a look properly. We will write S is equals to length of the rectangle. Length of the rectangle is represented by T. What is breadth represented by? Till point O to U is the initial velocity of the object. So length we will write T and breadth we will write U. So T U plus half into base. Now what is the base of this particular triangle? It is represented by T, correct? So we'll write here a T multiplied by, now we want the height of the triangle. Now height of the triangle is AB. We do not have any kind of symbol showing AB, but we know that entire length of EB is our final velocity and length of AE is our initial velocity. So if we subtract final velocity minus initial velocity, we will get the length of AB, that is the height of the triangle. So what we will write here is V minus U, because V is greater number and U is smaller number. Now what we will do is, we know that V minus U upon T could be substituted by acceleration. So let us do it. Therefore S equals to, let us write TU as UT as we require it in our equation, plus half into T into V minus U the whole divided by T. Now while you are dividing by T, remember maths believes that whatever you do on the LHS should be done on your RHS, as well as if you multiply or divide a number in numerator, you should also do the same with the denominator. So here if we are dividing v minus u upon t by time, we also have to multiply it here. So you all will write here a reason, multiplying and dividing by t, that is time. Now what will happen is, have a closed loop. This entire expression will get converted into a, that is acceleration, because v minus u upon t is nothing but formula of acceleration. So what will this become? This will become s equals to ut plus half into t into a into t. Correct? Here reason will come because acceleration is v minus u divided by t. T into t will become t square. So hence we have got our formula s equals to ut plus half a t square, which is called as Newton's second equation of motion. So I want you all to copy down this method in your notebooks. So students, let us move towards obtaining the third equation of motion, which is v square equals to u square plus 2as. Now, if you all observe again, for calculating displacement, we have to find the area of quadrilateral ODBE. Yes or no? If you look at the shape, OD and BE are two parallel lines because we have made them parallel, and on the other hand, OE and DB are non-parallel lines. So a quadrilateral formed by a pair of parallel lines and a pair of non-parallel lines is called as a trapezium. And we know that area of trapezium is half multiplied by sum of length of the parallel sides multiplied by the height of the trapezium, or you can say the distance between two parallel lines. Okay, so let us start, students. Displacement is nothing but area of quadrilateral ODBE. Okay, so therefore S equals to half into sum of length of parallel sides multiplied by distance between two parallel lines, that is the height. Now let us substitute other things in it. So S equals to half multiplied by sum of lengths of parallel side. Parallel side is OD and BE. So this will become OD plus BE multiplied by distance between two parallel lines, that is OE. So therefore this will become S is equals to half multiplied by, what is OD? OD is initial velocity and BE is final velocity. So this will become initial velocity plus final velocity multiplied by time. Shift 2 on this side. So we will get 2s equals to u plus v, because 1 multiplied by any number is the number itself, multiplied by t. Yes or no, students? Now we want to make this, convert this expression into the expression of acceleration. So for that, what do we require, students? We require the formula for acceleration. Now students, remember, what is acceleration? Acceleration is v minus u divided by time. Now put time at this side and put acceleration below. What will we get? Achha, we'll write it here, which implies time equals to v minus u divided by acceleration. Yes or no? So let us substitute this particular expression here. So what do we get our equation? We get it as 2s is equals to u plus v multiplied by time. Time is denoted here by v minus u divided by a. Yes or no? So let us bring a this side. So what will this become? This will become 2as, which is equals to u plus v, v minus u. Now remember, students, v minus u. Can we write u plus v as v plus u? Yes, it is correct. So now in this particular step, I have given you the clear reason why we are writing it as v plus u. Now do this resemble an identity a plus b, a minus b, which becomes a square minus b square. In this case it will become v square minus u square. So we have got 2as equals to v square minus u square. Now bring u square on this side. What will we get? U square plus 2as equals to v square. So therefore this has become v square equals to u square plus 2as. So this way we have got the third equation of motion. Here please write the formula as reason. A plus b, a minus b equals to a square minus b square. Do not forget to write this reason. So in this way we have proved all the three equations of Newton's three equations of motion. So I want you all to copy this method in your notebooks as well. Thank you. Hello students, this particular video is made on the topic law of conservation of momentum, which is a derivation in your science 1 chapter number 1, which is laws of motion. So let us understand how can we derive an expression for law of conservation of momentum. So for this we will consider two objects. Let us assume the first object to be A and the second object to be B. Understanding? So the mass of object A is m1 and it is moving towards object B with a velocity of v1. Let us assume it. Let us assume that the mass of body B be m2 and its velocity to which it is moving towards object A, B, v2 respectively. So if we calculate the momentum, first we will calculate the initial momentum. So what is the formula for momentum, students? The formula for momentum P is mass into velocity, because we know that momentum is a product of mass and velocity. Hence momentum is equal to mass multiplied by velocity. So when the object A and object B, let us consider these two dusters to be object A and object B. This object A has some mass, this object B also has some mass, and both are moving towards each other with a certain kind of velocity. After some times they will collide each other. Colliding, they will crash each other. After crashing, they will not remain at rest here. They will move in some direction. They might move like this, they might move like this, or they might move opposite from each other. So before colliding, they have some momentum with them because they have mass and they have velocity. With object B also it has mass and it has velocity, so there is some momentum in object B as well. So let their initial momentum be m1 v1, and let the initial velocity is denoted by u. So we will write u. So let the initial momentum of A be m1 u1 and initial momentum of B be m2 u2 respectively. After collision, both might have a change in momentum. Why? Because both are moving in some different direction. Both can have a change in velocity. So mass of the object will remain constant even before and after momentum, because it will not change throughout the process. What will change is velocity. So after collision, the final momentum will become mass multiplied by velocity. Final velocity is denoted by v. So mass, that is m1, multiplied by final velocity, that is v1, is the final momentum of first object, and mass 2 multiplied by velocity of second object is the final momentum of object 2. Now students, we know according to Newton's third law of motion, every action has an equal and opposite reaction force. So every action force has an equal and opposite reaction force. During collision, A will exert some amount of force on object B. Also, B will exert some amount of force on object A. So basically both are exerting a equal and opposite directional force on each other. So what we can say is, from Newton's third law of motion, every action force, let us denote the action force by F2, has an equal, that is F1, but opposite in direction, because of which we are putting a negative sign. So every action force has an equal and opposite reaction force which act simultaneously. So F1 and F2 are equal, but they are opposite in sign. If F2 is positive, F1 is negative, and if F2 is negative, F1 should be positive. So now, what is the force? Force is nothing but, here in this case, the initial and final momentum of the object. So understand, F2 is the reaction force, that is the final force. So now what we have here is, force, first we will go formula by formula. Force is mass into acceleration, correct? Force is mass into acceleration from Newton's second law. We will write it here because F equals to m into A. Understanding, students? Now because this is the final force, second, so we will write it m2a2 and this we will write m1a1. Now we all know that formula for acceleration is final velocity minus initial velocity divided by time. So it is, we will write m2 as it is, acceleration 2 will be v minus u divided by t. Now time period is same for both the objects, but final velocity is different for both of them, so v2 minus u2, correct? Similarly here also m1, and for a1 we will have v1 minus u1 divided by t. Time period on both the side will get cancelled. What remains is m2 in bracket v2 minus u2 equals to, and do not forget the subtraction sign which is following, minus m1 bracket v1 minus u1. Now let us multiply it. m2 into v2 will give us m2 v2 minus m2 into u2 will give us m2 u2 equals to minus sign. m1 into v1 is m1 v1, minus of minus is plus, 2 negative makes a positive sign. So m1 into u1, so here it will become plus m1 into u1. Now what we will do is, let us rearrange the terms. So with m1 v1, m1 u1, let us bring m2 u2, and with m2 v2 let us bring m1 v1. So what will happen? m2 v2 will remain here, minus m1 v1 will become plus m1 v1, minus m2 u2 will become plus m2 u2, and plus m1 u1. So what do we have? Let us rearrange this expression. It will become m1 v1 plus m2 v2 equals to m1 u1 plus m2 u2. So what does this expression indicate, students? For mass 1, the total momentum, that is initial momentum plus final momentum of first object, is equal to initial momentum plus final momentum of second object, which means the total momentum of first object, that is initially, is equal to the total momentum of the total final momentum of both the objects. What we can say here is, the total initial momentum is equal to the total final momentum, which means momentum before collision and after collision does not change, it remains same. So therefore from this we get a proof for law of conservation of momentum, which says that, now there are various statements for law of conservation of momentum. First statement is, the total initial momentum is equal to the total final momentum of an object. Second, if no external force is acting on two interacting objects, the momentum between them remains constant. Third one is the total momentum before and after collision remains the same for two objects colliding. Or you can rearrange the statement and write, when two objects collide with each other, the total momentum before and after the collision is same. In other words, few people say that momentum is neither created nor destroyed. It is passed from one object to another object, hence total momentum in the universe remains constant. So I hope you all have got the derivation of law of conservation of momentum clear to you all. Thank you.